everyone, and welcome to episode 117 of the Talkies Cheap Show. We're here live and direct in the AFTV studios, salubrious surroundings, I must say. And next to me, we have my co-host, good friend, show analyst, resident expert, former professional footballer, now social media influencer and icon, Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
What's happening, bro?
What are you saying, bro? Well, and listen, before we start,
yeah, man.
No jokes about me falling asleep. No jokes about a bald head, because you will get a slap.
Keep my name out of your mouth.
You will get a slap if you mention my bald head, man.
Yeah, what's going on? Because, you know, you've been sleeping during watch-alongs, haven't you?
That wasn't me.
No.
That was somebody else. No, man, it was a long day, man. It was a long day, and, you know, I'd expended all my energy trying to keep collecting those guys under control with that Nigeria-Ghana game. What a game that was, bro.
That was a good game.
Not in terms of quality, but in terms of, you know... Entertainment, passion from the fans, and... Yeah, man, it was good. It was good, yeah. So what have you been up to, bro?
Same old, man, same old. You know, international breaks, boring, innit? Obviously, you didn't...
You know what? I have to say, like, generally, I would agree with you. But this last international break, there's been some quite significant games that's provided some good entertainment and some good quality and some eventful moments. As we spoke about Nigeria, Ghana.
Yeah.
Italy out. I mean, what I was saying to you earlier, how can you have a situation where you have the champions of Europe and they can't qualify for the World Cup? That seems...
I know you were saying there, do you think if you've won the previous tournament, you should automatically qualify, or do you think...
It's kind of a little bit incongruous, isn't it, that you can finish champions of Europe, but yet you can't qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
So maybe they might want to introduce some seeding system. Or maybe, you mentioned it, didn't you? You were saying that if you win the Euros, maybe that should guarantee you a place in the
World Cup.
But then how do you do that worldwide? Because you're going to get
other regions of the world,
yeah.
Should you make the World Cup and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Maybe they should keep it the way it is. But there was some interesting games. Any games stand out for you?
Well, a good win for Jamaica last night. About time. You know? About time they won a game.
I mean, I've been teasing my Nigerian brothers, man, but they've been pointing out to me quite rightly that, you know what I mean, when are Jamaica going to win a game? Well, at least they won a game last night.
Waiting. Do you know, it was good to see Saliba make his debut for France. I thought he did well. And obviously Pepe bagged.
Yeah, he did.
A good goal against France as well. So, it was good to see.
Pity that the referee spoiled their game against England.
Yeah.
Woefully ridiculous sending off.
Maybe that's what sent you to sleep, the red card.
The Senegal-Egypt was interesting.
Yeah, lasers in the face.
Yeah. But, Canada qualifying for a World Cup for the first time. They've actually got a couple of half-decent players as well.
Yeah, Jonathan David and Davis. Obviously, we've been linked with that, Jonathan David as well.
Yeah, and we linked with Osherman as well, though after his performance the other day.
Yeah, he didn't look great, did he?
2 performances, which, well, I wouldn't even say they were performances,
no.
But you know what it is? I am now quite looking forward to the World Cup. Yeah. The draw's coming up, and I'll be interested to see how that goes.
It'll be interesting because it's over like the Christmas period. It's a bit different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, in Qatar.
See how it goes.
So, well, what did you make of Maguire getting booed? That was a bit off key, wasn't it?
See, for me, there's a big debate about it. I don't really agree with it because I think sometimes you have to separate club and country form. I can understand Man United fans are frustrated with him. If he was kind of getting booed for United, I sort of get it. But if we're being honest, Maguire's actually played well for England. He got in team of the tournament in the Euros. So maybe it was Man United fans, and you know they've obviously got an issue with his... He's been terrible for Man United, let's be honest. He's been awful. They call him the fridge for a reason, you know. But
fridge freezer,
you know. But for England, I think he's been all right.
Yeah,
so I think Southgate was kind of alluding to that.
Listen, I can remember a time not too long ago when a lot of Arsenal fans were saying they would have liked someone like him at Arsenal.
Yeah, I think when he was at Leicester, I think Emery actually tried to buy him, I think.
Yeah. Or even, you know, remember in the World Cup, he was a bit of a hero, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, slabhead.
Slabhead with that big head.
Yeah, so, I don't like to see players get booed like that.
No, not by your own fans.
That's a bit off-key, man. But like I said, the international break, there was some good games, there was some good performances. And like I said, I'm looking forward to that World Cup draw. So, okay then, bro. Thanks for that. Moving on, news and notes. It's only right that we should mention that today, at the time when this film was being produced, David Roe, man, anniversary of his passing. Quick words. Obviously, you want to send our best thoughts and wishes to his family and everybody who supported David Roe. We understand what an institution he is now at Arsenal. You want to say anything on that?
I mean, listen, for me, it was a little bit when I was very young when he was playing, but obviously watched a lot of videos of him. I've done loads of shows with obviously Kevin Campbell, and he's spoken about how good he was. He said he was almost like a Brazilian player, the way he played. And listen, obviously it's terrible.
What it is with Rocastle, because I do remember him. I've been at Highbury and watched him play. He had the silky skills, but he also had that grit and determination. And he could mix it up, trust me. And I think that's what made him such a fan favourite. Man, rest in power.
Condolences.
Continue to rest in power. What else do we want to talk about in our news and notes? The rearrangement of the
North London derby
game against Tottenham. Looks like it's going to be the penultimate week of the Premier League season. Are you okay with that?
Money, innit? Sky.
A wise man once said to me, always follow the money.
Follow the money, man. Listen, once that game was rearranged and you put it into the hands of Sky, basically then, don't you? They're going to say, let's make that as exciting a game as possible. If Arsenal and Tottenham are fighting for top 4 and that game's maybe 2 weeks before the end of the season, I mean, can you imagine if that was the game that kind of dictates what happens with 4th place? It'll be a monster North London derby. So I understand why Sky are doing it. They're going to try and maximise revenue. So
I ain't got a problem with it.
No,
bro,
I haven't.
Because it is what it is. If we're going to get that top 4, we're going to get the top 4. That game being rearranged for the penultimate week of the season shouldn't really affect our chances too much.
No.
Because it's in our control, isn't it? It's in our destiny. If we win our games, not to say that we're going to... listen, all 3 teams contesting that top 4, namely ourselves, Tottenham and Man United, I would say are going to drop points.
Yeah, of course.
But having said that, it's in our hands. So if we go there in the penultimate game of the season and we lose, I'm going to tell you straight out, I'm not going to be blaming it on the Premier League's decision to rearrange this game.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's how you feel.
Hopefully that game is not too important in the sense of it affecting our position. Hopefully.
I think it will though,
I can imagine it'll go to the wire.
Down to the wire.
Yeah, I do. I think so. Because of their running.
But I'm just hoping that even though it goes down to the wire, it's still in our control, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
It may be that we go there and need a point.
Yeah, I get you.
Or, something like that. But hey, I do think it's going to be hard fought.
It's going to be exciting. I think, like I said, at the start of the season, I was sitting there going, we might finish 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
The fact we're in a top 4 race, it's in our hands. I think we have to embrace it and enjoy it and hope that it goes in our favour.
Yeah, I think it will.
I hope
Got to ask you though, for the record, if we don't quite get over the line, would you deem that as failure?
I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would. Because to me...
Even if we still qualify for Europe?
Well, I think we're going to qualify for Europe anyway. But to me, I think... listen, top-level sport's about taking opportunities. And listen, we can all sit there and go, well, if we get top 6, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. But a huge opportunity is falling into our lap. We've worked hard for it. But, Man United and Spurs have sacked managers this season. They've changed managers and, had to change everything. Man United have got a temporary manager, hasn't done that great. Conte a few weeks ago was talking about leaving. We've had the most stability out of all those 3 clubs. Our manager's been there longest. We spent 150 million in the summer. I think we've got to take the opportunity because I think next year will be more difficult to get top 4.
Absolutely.
So not a complete failure, but I certainly will be very disappointed.
That's interesting. I would say, although initially it would be looked upon as a failure, if, and I'm saying if, I think that the fact that we qualified for Europe is in some way a measure of success. But hey, I guess it's easy for us to say that now. Let's wait and see. But okay then, right, moving on, because we've, got things to talk about. Premier League's back this week. Even though, like I said, the international break was better than normal. bread and butter. It's the Premier League, and we're back with a bang.
Patrick Vieira derby.
Patrick Vieira derby, man. I'm looking forward to this game. A derby, North London versus South London. Two teams on the up and up. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Two young sides, two young managers, two entertaining sides. Can't miss, really, can it?
It should be.
Looking forward to it?
I am looking forward to it. I am a little bit nervous about it. I can't lie, because I don't think anybody can go to Palace and be overly confident. We know they're a good team at home. I think Vieira's added a little bit more to their game this year than what...
Definitely.
Under Hodgson, they were very much sit back and counter-attack. I think Vieira's got them to play a bit more on the front foot.
Yeah.
Like you said, players like Elise, Zaha, Edouard, Mitchell now in the England squad. It's going to be a hard game, Absolutely. And obviously we play on the Monday, so we're going to know what Tottenham and Man United have done. Have they dropped points?
Got a slight advantage in that respect.
Yeah. But then if they both win, we're under more pressure. But we're hoping that at least one of them can drop points. But I think it'll be an exciting game.
It will be. And in the corresponding fixture, that was a good game.
2-2, late equaliser.
But let's have a little look at Palace. So what? They're currently 12th in the table. 34 points, 28 games, won 7, drawn 13, lost 9. So they're like the draw specialists.
Yeah.
Their last 5 games, they've won 1, drawn 3 and lost 1. Their only loss was to Chelsea.
Yeah.
They beat Watford, drew with Brentford, Burnley, and they got a very creditable draw against Man City, which they spent most of that game in a rearguard action. So they can do that as well. I mean, we spoke about them being quite progressive and expansive previously, but they do know how to defend. Palace, I mean, they are on the up and up, as I said. They've also qualified for the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. And then, of course, you've got ourselves. We're one of the form sides of the division. Well, the Premier League. 4th place, 54 points, 28 games. Won 17, drawn 3, lost 8. Last 5 games, won 4 and lost 1. The loss was to Liverpool. It's all set up to be a good game, man.
I mean, listen, we should be going there as favourites, because even though I rate Palace...
You think we're favourites, right?
Oh, yeah, we've got to be. Palace, like you said, they've won 1 game in their last 5. They're drawing a lot. They don't have the biggest of squads either. I know at this moment they're saying there's injury doubts over Zaha. He missed the game against England. Elise was withdrawn from the French under-21s. So if those two don't make it, although listen, we've seen this before, and all of a sudden they turn up. But I think we should be going there on the front foot. We need to score first. The atmosphere is brilliant at Selhurst. I've got to be honest. I think it's one of the best in the league. As well. So it'll be rocking there. But we need to go there, try and score first, take control of the game, and embrace what's in front of us. And I think the majority of our squad is available.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's interesting as well about this game is the young players on view. I mean, Arsenal, as we said previous on this show, they have a very young squad. I think it's the youngest in the Premier League.
Yeah, average age.
24 years and 320 days or something like that. But Palace is not far behind. I think they're like 25, their average age is.
Yeah.
And as you alluded to earlier, they've got some very good young players. Gueye, Tyreek Mitchell, Eze, Conor Gallagher, Elise, and Zaha's not exactly old, is he? So who do you see the main threat to us?
I think Zaha's always the main threat, just because, he's an Arsenal fan. He wanted to sign for us. Obviously we signed Pepe, and he always seems to have a point to prove. I've been really impressed with Gallagher this season. He's gone there on loan, and obviously he's in the England squad. It'll be interesting whether Chelsea take him back or whether Palace get him. And that Elise as well, for me, this season's been excellent. He's in the French under-21 squad.
I think he's one of those guys that can play for about 4 countries.
Yeah. I mean, Eze, obviously, he's been injured for a while.
Yes.
But he looked really good before he was injured as well. So
good.
They've got a lot of energy and a lot of threatening players. But like I said, I still think you can get at Palace. But it's going to be a hard game, that's for sure. It's going to be a tough game.
What kind of team would you see Arsenal put out?
I suppose the interesting thing we always say is Tomiyasu. Is this injury worse than they said? I don't know, because he's been.
I must admit, I am a bit surprised he's not back yet.
Yeah, and they're saying he's training
going on for a few weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying Ramsdale's 50-50 as well, which, to be honest, though, I thought Leno did really well against Villa, so I've got no problem with him starting. I think Gabriel, White, Tierney, that picks itself. Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say I'd like to see Martinelli up front, but I just think he'll go with Lacazette. First game
what kind
back.
of formation do you see?
So go with like a 4-2-3-1, don't you? Play like your Xhaka and Partey just in front of the back four, Odegaard in the 10, Martinelli left, Saka right, Lacazette up front. I seen Lacazette scored a hat-trick. I couldn't believe it. I thought my phone had broke. I was like, Lacazette scored a hat-trick? I thought it was one of them on this day 7 years ago. Although it was against Brentford B team, so I won't get carried away. But still, you know, confidence.
But at least he's finding the net.
Yeah, he's finding it. So hopefully he
hasn't forgotten where the net is, which is good.
Hopefully he takes that into the Premier League games.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, you know, it's about form. It's about confidence. And like we said, you know, if you're scoring, even in, albeit against Brentford's second 11 or whatever it is, it's still goals.
Yeah.
So that will bring him into this game in a good frame of mind.
Hopefully.
So looking forward to the game. And one of the things I am looking forward to, and this is going to be a sort of backdrop, the theme of this show, is the clash between the managers, because of course Mikel Arteta is doing very well at the moment, young manager, finding his way. He's had his ups and downs, particularly at the start of the season. Back-to-back losses, 3 losses on the bounce. People were saying, listen, man, if he doesn't turn this around soon, it could be him gone. Since then, to be fair, he's done a lot better. And now, you know, I mean, he's sort of steering us towards a very possible top 4 place. And then you got Patrick Vieira, who took over at Palace at the start of the season. A lot of people looked at that because, you know,
there's a risk.
He come from managing in America at first. Then he went to Nice. He'd done fairly well in the first 2. So I think he had like a 8th place and a 5th place finish. But then it didn't go too well, and he got relieved of his duties there. He's rocked up at Palace. Some people thought it could be a difficult task for him, but to be fair, he's done well. So I'm looking forward to that dynamic, that little battle there. How do you feel about Vieira's done so far?
I think he's done really well. Because like I said, Roy Hodgson he was very safe, Roy. So I think a lot of Palace fans would have felt like Hodgson going, you need another kind of safe manager. Vieira would have been a risk. But I think, like I said, I think he's added a dimension to Palace. I think they play better football under Vieira. I think he's got the respect of the players. You know, your Zaha's, big egos and personalities. They're going to respect Vieira. And we saw it earlier in the season, man. Late equaliser, we were losing that game as well. And listen, I think deep down, you know, we all love Vieira at Arsenal. I think he just got put into the Hall of Fame, the Premier League Hall of Fame.
He did.
And obviously, listen, he's somebody that you may have looked at and thought in the future.
Well, I was going to ask you that question.
Could he be in the dugout?
Could you see? I mean, obviously not right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure the powers that be at Arsenal are more than happy with the manager. Although I've seen some speculation that, you know, other clubs are showing an interest in Arteta, and there's one critic, famous football critic out there, Gary Neville no less, who feels that Arteta, if certain things are not right, could leave at the end of the season in pursuit of opportunities elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying that
happening.
I can't see it happening, but, you know, it's been floated. And, you know, we do know, well, we were, you know, I mean, being made aware of possible interest by big clubs abroad and so forth like that. So, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, let's have a little bit of a look at Vieira. So his management style, you know, he's a possession-based team. One thing I've noticed about Vieira compared to Arteta is that he's not what I would call overly demonstrative. He's not particularly vociferous from the touchline, but he is a known disciplinarian. He doesn't take any nonsense apparently. But his style does contrast to that of Arteta. So what do you prefer? I mean, Arteta, we know he's almost micromanaging from the touchline, isn't it?
I mean, listen, I'm not the big fan of that micromanaging. But listen, if your team's winning, then who cares really? Vieira's a lot more laid back, I would say, on the touchline. So
apparently he's laid back, but he is a bit of a disciplinarian
in the dressing room.
He doesn't tolerate nonsense.
Because I mean, he's played in Italy at Juve, and been under Wenger. I'm sure he would have been under strict circumstances. But listen, I think now the question will be with Vieira, can he push Palace that little bit further? Because they're still mid-table, but if they could get to the FA Cup final, that would be huge for them.
It would be.
And if the chairman backs him there.
What about his playing style? I mean, we know he likes a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
But he's shown a willingness to use a 3-man defensive system, and he's gone 3-4-3 and 3-5-2 at times. So he's shown a tactical
versatility,
nous, and he can vary it a bit.
Yeah.
So do you think tactically he's on point?
No, I think he's good. And like you said, man, these young players are now getting England call-ups.
Yeah.
3 young players called into the England squad. You didn't really see that under Roy Hodgson as much. So I think under Vieira, there's more of a style that allows them to show that. So listen, I think if he does a really good job at Palace and keeps going, and when Arteta eventually leaves, they're going to be saying it.
We better put the disclaimer in
disclaimer.
now.
No one's saying it.
I know what this lot are like. We love them, but we know what they're like. Some people in here are going to jump to the conclusion that we are advocating that Vieira take over from Arteta at the end of the season. No, what we're saying is Vieira's cropped up on our radar because he's done so well at Palace. Yeah, he's showing all the signs of a man with the potential that one day, if the situations align, that, would you consider him? Would you take him at Arsenal? And I would, personally, based on what I'm seeing at the moment.
If he continues on that trajectory that he's on at the moment, he would definitely be in with a shout.
Absolutely. Let's be honest, man. The man's an Arsenal legend, as you said, Curtis. Yeah. Just been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. He don't get much bigger. No. You know what I mean? The only slight problem I have with situations like that is that, when a player comes back to manage the club he used to play for with such distinction, there's that pressure there, isn't it? And you don't want to see it go wrong because...
It can ruin their legacy, can't it?
You can ruin your legacy.
You
know what I mean? So that, for example, you in the last week's show, you was calling for a statue outside of Arsenal. So if you did get appointed and it went wrong, you wouldn't want to see that
vandalising that statue.
You know what I mean? And that's always the danger.
Yeah, it is the danger.
Because let's face it, most managers do get sacked.
Eventually,
So we wouldn't want it to end up badly for him. But hey, man, I've been impressed with him so far.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
He's got that. He looks like he's got that steely determination, which he had as a player.
Yeah.
Because even when he was a player, I think you would agree with me. He wasn't a shouter, was he?
No.
He led by example.
Yeah, that is football.
And a lot of his play was intelligent. He didn't always go crashing into tackles.
It's interesting now that a lot of clubs are going for these younger managers, Gerrard, Lampard, Arteta, Vieira.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people now are looking at it saying, look, there aren't as many good managers out there. So maybe sometimes you have got to kind of create a top manager.
That's a good point.
So it's a kind of maybe they were right all along.
And if you look at the ages of these two managers, Arteta's 40, I believe. Vieira's 45. These are young guys.
They're young managers,
terms. I think that could be. I think, especially in high pressure situations like managing in the Premier League, the younger guys, okay, they haven't got vast experience, but they got that energy that you need. Yeah. And maybe they're not too far removed. So there's still that connection there. With older managers, we've seen it with Mourinho. Yeah. At clubs he's managed, there's been an almost disconnect.
A little bit out of touch.
He was better when he was younger. Yeah. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. Yeah, I think the younger managers are the ones people are going for now. I mean, even Pep and Klopp are not that old, really,
they're not.
Compared to like Hodgson and Ancelotti and managers like that who've been around. So yeah, I think you're right with that. The connection that they've got with the players and the fans.
Yeah, so all in all, man, this game is more than for what just happens on the pitch. It's a very watchable game. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of subplots. Yeah. But we're coming to the end of the show. Time is finite. I've got to ask you your prediction, bro.
Do you know what? I think we'll win just about. So I'll go for the old safety 2-1. 2-1 because I just think with it being the first game back
we
Monday
had a Desmond
night,
earlier in the season. 2-2. You're going for a 2-1.
I'm going for a 2-1. I think, we've got to win this game.
Some people would say, though, if we couldn't beat them at home, what makes you so confident we'll beat them away?
I think we're a better team now than we were then. We're a little bit disjointed. That's a good answer. See, I was ready for that.
Good answer.
You know what I mean? I think you always have that worry after the international break, though. When your players have been all over the world, they come back. Does it just click straight away? So I hope it does because it's a tough game, but I'll go for a 2-1 win.
Yeah, you make a good point, that last point about the international break. Although I did notice that there were quite a few Arsenal players that performed well while on international.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even our friend Pepe, man, he did well against France.
Tierney set up.
Tierney, you know, man, Granit Xhaka had a good game against England.
Ben White
scored
made
in that
his
game.
debut.
Ben White.
Yeah.
Man. So, yeah. You know what? In terms of my pick, I'm going to go with you on that one, bro. 2-1. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Definitely.
It wouldn't even surprise me if Palace scored first and we have to come from behind and beat them. But I'm seeing something about this Arsenal team. There's a certain resilience about them that I'm quite liking at the moment. There's a certain togetherness, which leads to a certain amount of enthusiasm. So when we do win games and we celebrate, maybe that's why the likes of Neves and Ashley Young, they get a bit upset when they see us celebrating. But I'm looking at that as more, it's not a diss towards the team we're playing against. It's more a reflection of how close we are
and the
as
progress,
a team unit and the progress that's been made. When you consider where they're coming from and some of the trials and tribulations they've had during the season, I think what you're seeing when we score and when we win is a team that are showing that sort of togetherness and that belief. So, I think that will carry forward. I think, like I said, it's going to be a hard-fought game. Palace will come at us. That might even suit us a bit, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
So where do you see the goals coming from?
I mean, I'd love to say Lacazette, but I'm still not sure. Most of the time, it's our young players, isn't it? So your Sakas and Martinellis at the moment. Odegaard with the odd one as well. Probably go for them. Martinelli looked good for Brazil the other day as well. Made his debut, so
bags of energy.
Bags of energy, man.
Trouble is they've got bags of energy in their team as well. Which is why I said for the neutrals, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain it's going to be a good game. But I am looking forward to it. So you're going 2-1, I'm going 2-1. Anything else you want to say?
No, listen, just
wrapping up.
A big weekend for us. Obviously, we've got to wait until the Monday. I think Spurs play Newcastle.
Yep.
Man United play Leicester.
How do you see those two games going?
I mean, really, you'd expect both of them to win, but I would hope that maybe one of them can do something again. I mean, Man United drew at home to Watford, so
But you know what? Dare I say it? One of the three teams are going to slip up this weekend. I just hope it's not us.
Yeah, hopefully not us.
As long as it's not us.
As long as it's not us.
I see something happening in one of those other two games.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what I mean? It's just getting to that point in the season. This is what I call the business end of the season now.
Yeah.
When every game there's something riding on it for those three clubs. So but it's going to be exciting, man.
I'm looking forward to it,
man. So in closing, anything else you want to say?
Just, pleasure that you've stayed awake for the whole show.
Listen, man, with the Talk is Cheap show, man, how could you not, man?
You know what I mean?
We offer so much entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why these guys keep watching every week.
Yeah,
so
big up.
There was never a danger that anything like that was going to happen.
Maybe it was Southgate's style of football, just finished you off.
No, you know what? It'd been a long day, and like I said, man, you know what I mean? Those guys are really working me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kelechi, Stricto, Toby, Kwame, Malcolm, and Belgium. You know what I mean? It was very eventful. I had a good time, but
man.
But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. Like I always say, we try and keep the show interactive. Tell us what you think the score will be before we play Palace. And tell us what you think of our discussion we had today. Vieira, are you impressed with him as manager of Palace? Could you see one day whereby a situation would arise where Patrick Vieira becomes manager of Arsenal? Would you want to see that? Would you not? Do you think it would work? Do you think it wouldn't work? Tell us why. We want to know. But thanks very much. We appreciate you watching. Keep watching, keep supporting, subscribe to the channel. We see you next week. We're out.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.